Outrage over the alleged killing of a 14-year-old boy, Ezekiel Olakbada, by suspected political thugs in Ilobu, a Rekmugun local government area of the state. Reacting to the incident, Governor Adeleke described the killing as shocking and condemned what he termed the growing complicity of the police in political violence across the state. In a statement issued by his spokesperson, Malam Olawale Rashid, the governor questioned the failure of security agencies to prevent the attack and demanded immediate arrest of Sahid Tafini, whom he accused of leading the operation. Meanwhile, the Osun State Police Command has confirmed the incident. The police public relations officer, Abiodun Ojelabi, said an investigation had commenced and assured residents that efforts were on the way to identify and apprehend the perpetrators. There was jubilation in Okada at the administrative headquarters of Ovia Northeast local government area of Edo State as residents gathered to celebrate the reopening of the newly renovated town hall. The extensive renovation was funded by the Isama of Benin and the patriarch of the House of Igbenedion, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osao Igbenedion, whose intervention has restored the community landmark to its former glory. Pius Nsogo reports.
It was a moment of celebration as elders, women, youth, and other residents of Okada rolled out the drums to welcome the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawari Benedion. The occasion marked the official presentation of the newly refurbished Okada Town Hall, a facility originally built by the Esama several years ago, but which had gradually fallen into a state of disrepair. Following appeals from the community, the referred philanthropist provided the resources for its complete renovation, bringing renewed hope and pride to the people. Chairman of the community, Mr. Edosa, who supervised the renovation project, described the task as enormous and commended the Esama for his unwavering commitment to the development of Okada. The Odionwe and other community elders also expressed profound appreciation, noting that the facelift given to the hall will serve generations to come.
The house is now stronger and will last long. We came to inaugurate the hall which Esama has renovated for us. We are very happy. May God grant him long life.
He came to repair Okada. May he live long.
Responding, the Esama of Benin thanked the people for their warm reception and continued support over the years.
I want to bless someone here today.
In a surprise gesture, he presented a brand new Lexus vehicle to a respected community elder in recognition of his dedication and selfless service to the growth and progress of Okada.
The best day which I will never forget in my life because of what Chief Igbenedion has done for me, which is not expected. I didn't dream of it at all. I'm very, very happy.
The colorful event featured cultural performances by women groups and musical renditions by a physically challenged high-life artist from Okada who entertained guests with songs of praise. For the people of Okada, the renovated town hall stands not only as a symbol of community development, but also as another testament to the enduring generosity and legacy of the Esama of Benin. Pius Nsogo, ITV News.
The Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hardin Kai has rescued 47 persons, mostly women and children, who were held captive by ISWAP terrorists in Kangawa Kukawa local government area of Borno State. The acting military information officer of the Theatre Command, Captain Mohammed Musa, in a press statement said the significant humanitarian success was recorded during a combined military operation that forced the insurgents to abandon the victims. He further highlighted the commitment of OPHK troops to not only degrade terrorist capabilities, but also to rescue and release the innocent civilians held against their will. The Theatre Command reaffirmed its resolve to sustain offensive operations, dismantle remaining ISWAP networks, and restore peace and normalcy across the northeast region. The Association of Resident Doctors at the Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital, Shagamu, Ogun State, has announced a 10-day warning strike over the non-payment of revised professional and specialist allowances, an acute manpower shortage, delayed training funds, and worsening welfare conditions. The association said it have imposed a 50,000 naira fine on any of their colleagues found disobeying the association's directive during the 10-day warning strike. The decision to embark on the industrial action was signed by the president of the association, Dr. John Motosho, at the end of the association's second quarter ordinary general meeting held at the Adebola Adegunwa Hall, OOUTH, Shagamu. The resident doctors expressed deep concern about the state government's failure to implement and pay the revised professional allowance and specialist allowance, including outstanding arrears. They noted that despite the expiration of a 14-day ultimatum earlier issued by the doctors, no memorandum of understanding has been signed and no firm commitment has been received from the Ogun State government. ITV and radio has been commended for its commitment to quality broadcasting and its contributions to society development through effective information dissemination. The commendation was made when the Nigerian Society of Engineers NSE Oedo branch paid a courtesy visit to the management of ITV and radio at the station's corporate headquarters on Airport Road, Benin City. Ofure Aneto reports.
Leading the delegation, the chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Oedo branch, Engineer Chukwudi Mudiaga, said the visit was aimed at strengthening collaboration with ITV and radio in the areas of youth mentorship and professional development. He noted that partnership would also help promote engineering as a viable career path among young people and create greater awareness of the activities of the branch. Engineer Mudiaga further used the opportunity to invite the management of ITV and radio to the inauguration ceremony of the branch slated for June 26.
Where you see us in primary schools, in secondary schools, we are going to take turns to mentor these people. You're going to see a professor talking to them to say, okay, I'm a lecturer. If you want to be a lecturer in engineering, this is me. This is your future. You have to have a company and say, okay, this is me, I'm the company owner. So that they know what to look at instead of seeing all the yahoos, people who sack the trousers.
Responding, the managing director of ITV and radio, Engineer Elvis Obaseki, expressed appreciation for the visit and assured the association of the station's support in initiatives geared towards youth mentorship, career development, and the advancement of the engineering profession.
Your plans to do mentorship, we will want to keep into a very coordinated attempt to address, especially at the embryonic stage when they are still in the secondary schools. But please, when you start this plan for the mentorship, just give us, we look for a way as our own contribution to having an egalitarian society.
Present during the visit were the Executive Director of Finance and Administration, Lady Celerina Ojomo, Director, Independent Radio, Pastor Dr. Dan Omozusi, General Manager, Group Commercial Services, Mrs. Odun Balogun, General Manager, Special Duties, Mr. Abiodun Mudashiru, Deputy General Manager, Programs Division, Dr. Sonny Duke Okosun, Assistant General Manager, News and Current Affairs Department, Egosa Agbonlao, and other management staff. From Benin, Ofure and Neto, ITV News.
The Mogaji of Akinshola family compound in Ibadan, Mogaji Olushola Ladoja, has cautioned former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose against dragging the revered stool of the Olu-Ibadan of Ibadan land into political controversies. Reacting to a statement reportedly made by Fayose during a recent interview, the Ibadan family head said it was disappointing that a politician who frequently identifies himself as an Ibadan indigene and professes affection for the ancient city would choose to attack one of his prominent sons. Mogaji Olushola Ladoja urged Fayose to focus on issues of public interest and refrain from actions or comments capable of diminishing the respect accorded to traditional institutions in Ibadan land. He further cautioned the former Ekiti governor against involving the Olu-Ibadan of Ibadan land in political disputes, stressing that the revered monarch remains a father figure to all, irrespective of political affiliations. Some residents in Edo North have bemoaned the hardship they are facing due to the present economic situation and worsening policies in place to alleviate the suffering. Edo North Bureau Chief McDonald Runokai reports.
Speaking with news crew, some residents in Edo North Senatorial District say they are faced with untold hardship associated with current economic reality across the country. While traders say their businesses have nosedived following little or no patronage. Few buyers complain of high prices of goods and services. They call on government to urgently fix the economy so that socio-economic activities can bounce back. Others appeal to government and security agencies to address the menace of insecurity.
Life for Nigeria now is that we see many things, we see difficulty, something like bandit, we don't see that kind of thing before. Everywhere we can see some crimes. Many people are committing crimes because of they cannot meet up with their needs. We need effort to gather Nigeria together so that we can get one mouth. No, make sure say Nigeria is very good country to stay.
What 10,000 I can afford for you before, now even 20,000 I can now afford it. We have a lot of challenges here and there. This war that is going on around us, these are the things that are affecting this world. Because when there's crisis in one part of the world, that thing affects the other part of the world.
From Auchi, the administrative headquarters of Isako West Local Government Area of Edo North, McDonald Runokai, ITV News.
The federal government has already clamped down on marketers engaged in holding or diversion of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, also known as cooking gas, following the recent surge in the price. The government directed the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority and other regulators to intensify market surveillance, investigate product holding and diversion, and sanction operators found manipulating the market. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, Ekpo gave the directive at an emergency stakeholders engagement on rising LPG prices following deliberations with regulators, producers, marketers, and other industry players. The authority identified several factors responsible for the current rise in LPG prices, including global supply disruption and price volatility arising from the Israel-Iran conflict. Ekpo enjoined marketers and importers to bring in additional LPG volumes where necessary, disclose cargo arrival schedules, price products responsibly, and avoid speculative withholding of supplies. Business. Latest data from the Nigerian foreign exchange market show that the Naira exchange at approximately 1,366.41 Naira per dollar at the official market on Tuesday. The NFEM rate, which is published by the Central Bank of Nigeria, represents the volume-weighted average exchange rate for the day. The official exchange rate has remained with 1,350 naira to 1,370 naira range in recent weeks, supported by improved liquidity and sustained foreign portfolio inflows into local assets. Analysts noted that exchange rates could continue to fluctuate in response to changes in foreign exchange inflows, global oil prices, and domestic economic conditions. In the world of entertainment, according to a report, Clive Davis, the pioneering American music executive, will be megastars of Aretha Franklin, Bruce Springsteen, Carrie Underwood, and many others during half a century of shaping modern music, died on Monday at the age of 94. The industry A-lister and one-time boss of Columbia Records, who embraced genres from rock and roll to early hip-hop and pop, was recently hospitalized with respiratory problems. In our talking football, Lionel Messi became the all-time leading goal scorer in FIFA's Men's World Cup history after breaking Miroslav Klose's long-standing record by scoring his 17th and 18th tournament goals in Argentina's 2-0 win over Austria. Messi proved decisive for the reigning world champions as Argentina secured victory in their Group J clash and booked a place in round of 32. Klose, who featured at 4 World Cups for Germany, set the previous record of 16 goals during Germany's victorious 2014 World Cup campaign in Brazil. Messi, who missed a penalty in the encounter, finally claimed the record-breaking goal when his side footed home Facundo Medina's low cross to register his 17th World Cup goal. The Argentina captain added his second goal in stoppage time, firing home through a crowded penalty area after a goal-mouth scrabble. The Braves took his tally at the tournament to 5 goals and further extended his record to the most World Cup appearances with his 28th match at the finals. And that's it on the news at noon. Thanks a lot for watching. Good afternoon.
ITV, certainly the best.
Some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Emobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
Yari yari, Ọba Tope.
The Oba of Benin added a colorful mood to the year's celebration as he walks round the city center amidst cheers.
Oh, my son, my dear. We say, oh, my dear. Oh, we're not here. Is that where I get you? Not over. Yes. Not do so much. Yes, my dear. Where's it up, Anisha? Where's it up, Anisha? Oh, it's not here. Where's it? My dear. Is it? Comment c'est papa que voici quoi voici
ça m'a toqué Sama tope. Isa. Wayagi makpame sama me. Igaro. Wayagi makpame sama me. Igaro. Wakume kwegwidejo. Igaro. Wakume kwegwe sama me. Igaro.
The Esama of Benin Kingdom thanked the new Edion for visiting him and advised them to always abide by the rules and regulations of their new positions. The Esama urged them to indulge in what will continue to bring development and progress to the community.
When I say it's your Edion, I wait to us and I know what I will.
Yes, Papa.
Kaliba Wagina Kono, no, we say, Upedion. Upedion. Ah, Baba. Eko Mana Seva. Eva Yaro, the little way I say, my woman. I will go in a John. Hey, Jonah will. Hey, Jonah, pull up. Hey, Jonah, Luria, he said, Bobby, go back. But John Way, Gathered in and I had the way. While we were there, no matter of
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
Hello everyone,
Thank you for joining us on the program Healthy Living. I'm Adesu Walsawage, and today on Healthy Living, we want to look at geriatric care, which is a specialized care focused on the need of older adults, usually that kind of sometimes 65, 70 thereabout. And the goal is to maximize their independence, because for some at that age, they begin to lose their independence. Some may lose their minds. Some may not recognize things anymore. Others will be bedridden. Others will be so troubled by a combination of ailments, illness, and all of that. And then we want to see how they can get quality life and manage multiple chronic conditions together and not in isolation. And we know that geriatric care often happen, it's a family thing usually, because we stay in the part of the world where families take care for the elderly in the family. They don't just go dump them in one healthcare center or the other, or one home like is commonly found in other climes. So here in our climb, we still take care of our elderly. But how do we take care of these our elderly people? How should we take care of them? Once one is getting aged, this fear of being maltreated begin to set in. Usually they say, okay, you are the first son, your mother should stay with you, or you are the first daughter, your mother should stay with you. Often time you see that when our elderly ones stay with their daughters, they usually get some quality care. But when they stay with their sons, all right, there are some wives that will not want to tolerate the husband's mother, and then they tend to maltreat them. They even beat some of them. I'm telling you this for free. It's what we have seen. So how do we care for these elderly ones in our society, or in our homes, in our families? How do we care for them medically, socially, and all of that, so that they get maximum care in their old age? So joining me is Marilyn Akwomera. She is a certified healthcare giver. So Marilyn, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me today.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm glad to be here again.
Yes. Thank you so much, Marilyn. All right, so caring for the elderly in our homes is usually difficult. So what are the things we should consider in taking care of our elderly ones? At least those of us who are not medical professionals like you.
Okay, so of course we know aging is a natural process. Everybody is going to age. But there are many things that you should put in consideration while an individual is aging.
Okay.
The fact that someone is aging does not mean that they must have all the different ailments. It's aging that is natural. Living healthy is also important. So while your parents, your siblings, your friends, whoever people you have around you are aging, you must be able to prioritize their health. So first thing, you should note that there's so many diseases that can come up as you age. Now, like I said, aging is natural. Those ailments are not the natural process. Now, yes, what happens is that as you age, your organs are not as vital as they used to be. Just like when you're using a machine, after a while, it begins to have some little dysfunctions here and there. But you can play your part in ensuring that your parents or your grandparents stay healthy, from the necessity for regular health checkups. Now, because as at that point, all of the organs are not as vital. So there's need for regular checkups in the clinic, checking their blood pressure, checking their blood sugar, checking their bones. So there are different aspects of their body, and they need that regular health checkup.
Okay.
Second thing, okay.
No, go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay, so secondly, you also are very keen on their nutrition. This is a period where what they eat is very, very vital. So you must prioritize proteinous food, helps for bones, strong bones, teeth. So proteinous food that will help their body. You also prioritize things that are nutritious, vital nutrients for their body. So this is not the period to just allow them eat anything they like. Of course, they must eat healthy meals. Then you're also conscious of their environment. One of the things that we easily find in this group of individuals, this age group, is that they fall. They have easy falls. Why do they have easy falls? Because of course there's weakness of their bones. They have lost bone mass and they are becoming weak, so they can easily fall. So you must protect them. Now these falls is what will lead to fracture, and you see that most of the time they are bedridden until the period of death. So you must protect them, give them the nutrition will also help their bones. Then the environment, their environment should be well lighted up. They should have easy walking aids. You know, from their distance from the room to the bathroom should not be so far. You know, everything that will protect them from easy falls are very, very important this period.
All right, Marilyn, thank you so much. Now let's take it one after the other. You know, once they're aging, they begin to suffer delirium, they're losing their memory, they start having some form of mental issue or the other. And some persons cannot tolerate that. Many times we've seen old people on our streets looking for their houses, you know. They come out of their house and then they get, you know, when they go outside, they can't find their way home again. They can't even remember their name. They can't remember where they stay. So how should we care for these elderly people who are suffering from maybe one form of mental ailment or the other? It could be delirium, it could be forgetfulness, it could be schizophrenia and all of that.
All right, so one of the things that happen with aging is that there could be a bit of memory loss. But we found out that in recent time, dementia has become common, which is also, there's a major memory loss in dementia. And it is seen with the elderly. Now, when you have this kind of condition, if it's as bad as dementia, or it's just, you know, dementia is really, really bad for the memory loss, but there could be some slight memory loss here and there for our elderly. Whatever the case is, you should realize that this is not a deliberate act to be this way. What they need is adequate medical care throughout this period. Now, what we see with dementia is that they begin to deteriorate more cognitive impairments, more memory losses that occur. You must give them adequate medical care. This is not the time to relegate them to a corner. You know, we see all of these things that happen. They become even depressed at that old age because they are isolated, or like you mentioned, they're even maltreated. That's not adequate. That's not proper, because like I said, aging is a natural process. We all age, and you might not be one to determine how you will age, right? So you should give them proper medical care. Then, of course, be patient with them. There is a lot going on within their minds this period, so be very, very, very patient with them. Yes, it's tiring to repeat some things over and over again, and it looks like, are you not hearing me? But please be patient. Say the things that they asked you. And of course, like I said, medical care is important. So if they need medications, provide the necessary medications that they should be taking, and then the necessary nutrients for them also this period.
Okay, I remember vividly my grandmother of blessed memory. She's very selective and very picky about food. There's some food she will never eat, no matter what. For food, she's okay, but when it comes to medication, oh my word, we need to, I don't know, it takes us like almost 2-3 hours to give my grandmother medication. So how do we go about giving them medication? Because some person will say, you know what, take medicine, I sabi, and then they just walk away. No patience, nothing. So talk to that person now who is watching and also having difficulty in administering medications to grandmother, grandfather, or aunt, somebody elderly at home. Please talk to us on the techniques to employ, because it gets to a point in life they start acting up like children. I saw that firsthand. So.
All right, of course, they start acting like babies. The circle goes back. We started as a baby, you go back again. So yes, but this, like I mentioned just now, patience is important for them. Normally, nobody likes taking medication, and most times at this age, they have several medications they are taking, and they are taking it almost every day. And this is not what anybody normally likes. Nobody wants to just be taking medication every day. So you should understand that you, that is the caregiver, you should understand that it is not so convenient for an individual to be taking medication, even if it's just one every time. And they have several medications to take. So you would understand that first of all. Then how would you give them the medications? Now, there are different techniques, and I believe it's individual based. How would she like to be given this medication? Some of them will tell you, oh, wait, I'll take it when I finish eating, or I prefer it like this. So first of all, listen to them, because that, it doesn't matter. No. Listen to what do you want? Oh, I want it at this time. But you now explain to them. The doctor said you need to take this medication by this time, and this is why. Now, most times, what I have experienced is that with proper explanation, it helps a lot. Most of our family members are not so patient, because you know that this is your mom. You've known her all your life, so you don't know why you should be explaining many things to her. But you have to take your time to explain to her that, for example, this is a drug for your sugar. What is happening to your body is that your sugar is already high, and it can cause different complications. With this medicine, we can control it, and you can live longer for me and for your grandchildren. You know, bring them to that place of understanding that everybody is just showing them care. I know that you could be tired, you could be easily irritable, but just bring them to the understanding that they need this treatment, and it is for their own benefit. So it's usually what works is communication, and we find out that when you can really talk to them and get them, they would decide to take the medications.
All right, is it true or a myth that it is not good to give injections to elderly people?
Okay. Of course, there's no, that's not true. To give injections to elderly people, no, that is not true. We have patients that are in their 90s, and of course, so the route of administering a medication, the time is dependent on the kind of issue that the patient is having. Okay. If it's something that needs an immediate treatment, there will be need to give it. It could give it through the veins, it will give it through the muscles. Yes, during this age, there is loss of muscle mass, which is why people say, oh, don't give them. But you should also know that giving them, there's a technique to giving injections normally, but that you should not give at all because they are elderly. No. Most of those routes, intramuscularly, intravenously, that we like we normally say, is because we want quick response based on the medical condition of the patient.
Okay. All right, Marilyn, you mentioned delirium and dementia. You know, they may look one and same. How can we, ordinary persons like us who have grandmothers, grandfather, people above 60, how can we recognize the one that is dementia and the one that is delirium?
What we normally see is the deterioration that occurs, the differences. Most times you see how bad the deterioration gets to be with dementia and compared to the delirium. So that's just the easiest way to say it. There is a huge loss of memory. There is a almost total loss of functioning for the brain that we see from this dementia. Now that's just the easy way. But you know that it's not easy to have this kind of patients as your parents. You know, for us, you are seeing them as just a patient. But for you that is having them as your parents, we know that it is actually worse when you keep on seeing them deteriorate. But there is some support medically that can be provided, but most times there is no cure. So you just do your bidding to understand that these are these are the presentations that occur, and I will be managing them as they get older. Okay.
Now let's talk about hygiene, because I have seen where elderly persons are abandoned in their own body waste, so to speak. You know, they defecate, they pee on their bodies, and they just leave them like that. So what's the best practice when it comes to, at least now they are not independent, they cannot care for themselves per se. So what's the best way to care for this set of persons?
The best way to care for them is the way you care for yourself. You will not want to be in the pool of your own pee. You will not want to be in the pool of your own poop. You will not want to be in a dirty environment. So if you would not like to be in that kind of environment, then there is no reason why you should leave them in that environment. Yes, some of them have medical conditions that make these things occur so often. But just like you know that there's nothing comfortable about being in dirt, you cannot also leave them in dirt. So as much as possible, clean, tidy, as regular as you should, as regular as you can. Of course, there's room for some support, like you have Pampers that you can also put on them so that they don't soil everywhere up. Before you come, maybe you went somewhere, you come back, then you can just, just like babies, actually. Just like you would care for a baby, that's how you would care for them. You will bathe them, you will feed them, you will clothe them, you will clean them up. Like I said earlier, the circle goes back again.
All right, something usually happens to the skin, the skin begin to deteriorate and all of that. Is there some kind of moisturizer to make them look better?
Okay, if you can afford moisturizers, that's fine. But you can also just help them with their diet. So what they eat this period is important.
Like what kind of food should they be eating this period at that age?
More fruits, more vegetables. Of course, one thing that happens during this period is that they have loss of appetite too. So they will not want to eat much. So you make sure that the small quantity that you are giving is highly nutritious. So they are having more vegetables in their meals, more fruits, more citrus fruits. We see all these skincare products and we see there's vitamin C in them and you see there's vitamin E. So those things that you find in fruit, like this, your oranges, normal fruits that you have, pineapple, apple, as long as they are also not diabetic, because when they are diabetic, you want to control their sugar. And sugar is also found in fruits. But more fruits, you can blend cucumber and some carrots and just give them.
Okay, like smoothie.
Yes, you can give them like a smoothie, healthy smoothies. So this is not the time to load them with just anything. No. They don't eat much, so the little must be nutritious.
Okay. All right. You've talked to us about their cognition and behavior, like communication skills, the way we should communicate with them, the way we talk to them. We talk to them like we're talking to babies and all of that. We need to be patient and plenty of that. Now, can you tell us some of the things that triggers their emotions? Because sometimes you just find them crying, other times they are throwing tantrums, sometimes they are moody. What are those things that triggers all of those emotions in elderly persons?
Okay, so from my own experience, the first thing that they don't like is not being listened to.
Okay.
Especially when they are telling you, like, not be listened. When you don't listen to what they are saying, not be listened to is the first thing that they don't like. So you try as much as possible to indulge them. Ask them, even for the regular things, would you like, if you want to prepare their meals, or would you like it with rice and vegetable? Would you like it with... So ask them questions, involve them in their own care. Don't just care for them like they are some outsider. No, involve them in their own care. Okay. And that's very, very important.
All right. So as we round up now, what's the place of exercise in everything that you have talked to us about today on the need to care for elderly in our homes, in our society?
All right. So one of the things that happen as we get older is that there is loss of bone mass. And there is loss of elasticity. So those things come normally with age. That's why you have arthritis and all of that. So what they need is, they don't need to register in a gym this period. They just need, they just need some slight but effective exercises. So we advise them to take walks. They can just walk around the compound, walk around the house, walk streets maybe in the evenings. Just take some strolls, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Okay. All right, Marilyn, our time is up. This is where I say a huge thank you to you for finding time to be with me on today's show. Thank you so much. All right, people, this is it. What goes around comes around. If you're one of those persons that treats the elderly badly or maltreats them or do things you're not supposed to do, don't forget, you are going to age soon. And it's going to happen to you. So let's do our best possible to take care of them, okay? And Let them have a good life, a healthy life, a decent life before they meet their maker. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
This is Anegbete community, situated in Isako Central Local Government Area of Edo State. It is an agrarian community with united people that promotes unity and oneness for peaceful coexistence. The inhabitants of the community migrated from Benin, the cradle of black civilization, a kingdom where king is truly king. The ancestors of Anegbete saw that age was the main determinant of leadership in the rural setting, and the eldest man in the settlement was regarded as the leader who presided over meetings, and his authority is held in high esteem. To further strengthen this unique system of leadership, age group evolved in Anegbete. In Anegbete, age group is categorized into two, that is the common and the noble. Anegbete is rich in cultural heritage, as the community at noon saw the commitment of the festival with the first set rolled out in beauty colors to showcase their might and strength, indicating their feet and ready for the responsibilities behold on them. The streets in the community with a feed up of young men and women adorned with the festival. Later, the royal family takes the stage as their children fight out royally and work in the community to showcase their might and fitness.
My leader.
Certainly the best.
Hello viewers, it is Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji. Since May 29, 1999, Nigeria has had 27 years without military interruption. And of course, that's the longest stretch that we have had in our history. Nigeria marked 27 years of uninterrupted civilian rule on June 12, 2026. And it is the day we commemorate the annulled June 12, 1993 presidential election won by Chief MKO Abiola. And in that regard, 27 down the line, we're going to be surveying and talking about the gains, the challenges, and the current demands of citizens to know what we have benefited 27 years down the line. It is Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji.
If there should be anything to celebrate, is the gift of life. But for now, in terms of our democracy, there's no dividend to celebrate about. We got our independence about 57 years ago, in 1960, 1st October in 1960. And the democracy lasted for about 6 years, being truncated by the military government. In the First Republic, then the Second Republic started in 1978 and truncated in 1983. So in that Second Republic, at least Nigeria have a feel of democracy. At that time, we operated in the region, middle region. Then under we have Bende State that time. Those parties, UPN and NPP, they have manifestos. The UPN being headed by Abu Ali. And what are the first manifestos? Talking about free education, free healthcare, social welfare, and employment for everybody. And that time, I also benefited. I benefited, I feel. I was in school then, those they have entitled to free education, have entitled to free books. Then after that time, it was truncated by the military. In 1998, we got the Fourth Republic. From Fourth Republic till now, which make it 27 years of unadapted democracy. The people representing us are not representing the masses. The true democracies enthroned citizenship. You enthroned the office of citizenship. It gave us ownership. As of today, the 215 million Nigeria, we are not claiming ownership of Nigeria because the government is supposed to belong to the people, according to Abraham Lincoln. He said democracy is supposed to be the government of the people and for the people. If we must ask a question, even people that listen to me, is the democracy belong to you? Does the power afford to you? We're supposed to employ the people. But in 1999, or this Fourth Republic, so the democratic system, people that represent us in each of the parties, do they have a manifesto? Go and check. Harry S. Truman, the President of America, also told you, say, how do you know a democracy that is working and the one that is not working? He said nobody can get rich in politics. He said when the society, when the wealthiest and the richer people in the societies are politicians, he said that society is fundamentally corrupt. It's not democracy. What can we say we are benefited in Edo State or in Nigeria? And you know, Setman was kidnapped at Airport Road, no security. What offense does it commit to be in Nigeria? In Nigeria, we're traveling for vacation in Kevel. They were deported, called green passport. Got a call from Tripoli. They say all Nigeria must go because of our green passport. So number one, true democracy and true citizenship, anywhere we go. But as of today, nothing to celebrate. And if I must give advice, any people that must come into the system, in those days for you to become a representative or candidate for any party, you must have something to offer, must be educated. But today, what can we say? Out of the 36 states in the country, how many governors can you say is representing actually the true color of the citizenship? Where your governance is never what that a gate man that could be teaching your children. Go and find out the issue of Abu Saleh in his days. Nigeria, they benefited him. Go to the west, a lot of people feel them. When the government was toskated, do you see any Abu Saleh having the house? In present day, they go and see all people representing all the governors, even for the House of Senate. The bill they are passing to favor them, not to favor the citizens. So we need to advise our people. In 2027, actually, I'm still worried if the democracy can still work because the people that are in charge of the elections, who planted them, who mandated them, it's the same people. So I just pray that in 2027 we'll have a good democracy. But this 27 years of democracy, not to benefit. Not to benefit. I cannot to come to benefit. The only benefit we can benefit is the air we are breathing, which is given by God. All the political children that are in university, the governors' children that are in university. What can you talk about? Primary health care. Go to private government hospital. You can't pay the bill. My father retired as a military officer for 30 years in the military. What does he benefited? But not today. People now, this Fourth Republic, What we practice today is not democracy. We practice 3 types of democracy in Nigeria now, which are called not democracy. 1, we practice borrowcracy. 2, we practice lootocracy. 3, thiefocracy. They borrow, they loot, and they use it for their family. That's what we are practicing today. That is why Harris Truman told us, he said you can't get rich in politics. And when the society is full of your wealthiest people in societies are politicians, he said that society is corrupt. So what we are seeing in Nigeria is corruption, nothing to celebrate apart from the gift of life. We just pray and hope for 2027 for a better country, so that the citizens who voted for the people, because the power belongs to the citizen. And when the government fear the people, there's democracy. And when the people fear the government, it's tyranny. Today, what are we talking about? Can you speak out? In those days, in America, we say we the America. We the America. Why? Because the power belongs to the citizen. Can Nigeria say we the Nigerians? When you speak against the government, before you know, they say so you would say DXS and arrest you. So democracy belongs to the people. But in Africa, in Nigeria, it doesn't work. Nothing to celebrate. We hope for better country. We want transparent election. We want fairness, equity. We want security. We want social welfare. And the only thing we also benefit before, which was the subsidy, it will be removed to benefit the people on top. So if we can have a credible election, where when the people were elected come through a rightful process, they will have interests of the people at heart, which have given mandates to the citizens and the right of the people.
We are not enjoying anything from the democracy. This is not democracy at all. Because why? The democracy we know before, you can travel around 3, around 4, around 5. People are no longer traveling through the land again. Everybody is not taking flight. It's not everybody that have money to avoid a flight ticket because the road is not safe. If you travel by the road, maybe in the 2 hours or 3 hours time, they will start calling your family for ransom. So we are still begging the federal government and the Edo State government to please, they should beef up this security so that we can be able to sleep with our 2 eyes closed. Well, we can still thank people like the OC Anti-Kidnapping and the DPO Urban Market and New Benin for still providing security to still make sure that people are still coming out to do 1 or 2 things. The OC Anti-Kidnapping pin it down somewhere in a black spot to make sure that they can solve most challenges that we are facing this period. At least we are still begging the Edo State government to please to mobilize people like the vigilante and the rest. Even as I speak with you now, people are dying somewhere. It's like there's an uprising in Nigeria just because our own zone is very comfortable for us. There are some places that people are running for their dear life. People are dying as I'm talking to you now. So we are still begging the federal government to look into this insecurity matter. Not only at those states, not only Benin, everywhere.
I want to tell her say congratulations to Nigerians for 27 years of unbroken democratic or civil rule. Let me not say democratic rule, civil rule. Because to say democratic rule, you will mean that there are all the indices of a democracy are there. What I see here is we have had civilians in charge, no doubt about that. So we can say 27 years of unbroken civil rule, but to say 27 years of unbroken democratic rule, I would think that would be a stretch. A democracy actually entails a government by the people, where the people are the ones in charge and in power. The question is, in the last 27 years, have Nigerians been in power? Can we say that we have a say in what happens in our government? Because the government where those in charge can tell you that this is what will happen, and whether the people agree or not, it doesn't matter. I do not think that is a democracy that we should be celebrating as a democracy. How did June 12 come about? Because we are celebrating June 12 as our democracy day. They even mentioned the late Chief MKO Abiola and celebrated him, but they didn't mention the issues that led to Chief MKO Abiola being celebrated as June 12 hero, as democracy hero. The man is being celebrated because he won a very democratic process of election, a people decided election. He won that election, but the powers that be did not allow him to sit on his seat as the president of the federation, as it were then. So that is why we are celebrating June 12 as Democracy Day today, to commemorate, to remind us of that day, so that we make changes, so that when we want to go astray, we remind ourselves of what has happened before and wealth should not be allowed to happen again. Because these days, I see a lot of factors that are repeating June 12th every day. We repeat every time we want to do election, we do everything to frustrate the will of the people. And exactly what the military did then. We are only calling June 12th and celebrating the MQ Abela because it was a military government that frustrated the will of the people. What about the civilians that are frustrating the will of the people today? Have we talked about them? Are we dealing with their issues, how they are frustrating the will of the people? What about the courts? Are we also looking at how they are interfering with the will of the people? Because if we say the military interfere with the will of the people, that is why we are celebrating June 12th, to say it should not happen again. Have we put in place, machineries in place to say other institutions, other powers, other factors should not also interfere with the will of the people? Because presently you have cases where everybody is saying we voted for Mr. A, but when the court decides, you see even D, it will not even be B or C, you see D sitting there in power. And you need to ask how he got to that stage. You don't know. It's factors that vitiate democracy have interfered with that process. So I think it's high time we look at those factors, correct them, so that people can actually be the source of power, not power being the source of power. Because what we have today is, once you win the election, you become the source of power. You are the doer and say, oh, you are an emperor. We have a emperor kind of system, government where no matter what the people want, it is nothing compared to what the government says. For heaven's sake, if we were running a government, a people-powered government, a people-backed government where people's will actually count, you won't be hearing of trillions of naira missing, and NPC cannot account for it. A senator will speak about it. That senator will be the one that will be vilified. Now, the entire Senate that is supposed to be the conglomerate of the people, the representative of the people, who will leave the issue, which is our missing trillions of naira that has not been accounted for by NNPC. The Senate will now concentrate on who's going to say it. How did he say it? He said it in a way that cast doubt that rubbish NNPC. A senator stood up and said, oh, NNPC is a representative of Nigeria. If you say NNPC is a thief, Nigerians are thieves. So that's what the senator was concentrating on. It's not the fact that trillions of naira, monies that is enough to take care of a whole generation of Nigerians, is missing. That's not what is bothering senators. What is bothering the representatives of people who say they are the arm of the democracy, that represent the people, because the National Assembly, the legislature, is the arm of the government that represent the people. So if you say you are representing the people, as a representative of the people, would it be your place? Would that be your issue? What you should be worried about? That they talked about you in a defaming manner. They talk about NNPC in a defaming manner. And for heaven's sake, if you steal money, you do not have character to be protected. So this attempt to, don't defame somebody's character. For heaven's sake, if you steal money, you are a thief. If you cannot account for money that is placed in your custody, you should be called a thief, nothing less. That is the truth. If trillions of naira pass through your hands and couldn't get to where it's supposed to get to, for some reason or the other, it has not been accounted for, you are a thief. People should be allowed to say it. And until we get to that stage, we are not in a democracy. There's a place where democracy operates. You look at the person who is ruling and tell him you have not done well. You tell him, the people say you have not done well. That's where we say democracy is actually taking place. But when we have government that the government is the law, is the Lord, whatever they say becomes the law, it's a problem. So it's high time we redirect ourselves. No country has ever sat down to say, oh, let's fold our hands and pray. No country has done it. The way it is done, the government, the public institutions act with facts and figures and their hands, their tools. That's how they make progress. We have security challenges. The Minister of Defense is telling us that, oh, because there's a war, there are so many wars all over the world, we cannot buy weapons. Why, for heaven's sake, after the First and Second World War, every nation went into weapons building, weapons development. That's why you have R&D department in every sector, every nation. How to build your own weapon. You don't hold on to the weapons that you collected from the British in 1950 something and 1960 something. As at this time, you would have improved so much so. We have immediate problems. See, it is a man that has solved today's problem that will live for tomorrow. If you don't solve today's problem, you can't live for tomorrow. Insecurity is expounding every day. It's as if the criminals are learning that, oh, nothing will happen, so let's just take the day. How many people will die in kidnappers' custody before we wake up and say, no, enough? For heaven's sake, I do not see any reason why we still have military men and policemen paid by taxpayers escorting VIPs. It's high time we would have opened up some private security firms that are attached to the military and police. They must be guarded and attached to this national security institution that will have the ability to carry weapons, and they will be well trained, so that those are the ones that will guide VIPs. They should guide VIPs, our courts, our banks. Let them go and guide, so that the police and the military can face their core duty. The citizens are not asking for too much. Give us security. If you give us security, Nigerians are ingenious in themselves. They will fight their own fight. See, Nigerians have started solving the problem of power, even though it is the government that ought to solve the problem of power. The primary problem Nigerians are facing now, which they cannot solve by themselves, the primary problem is insecurity. That one, governments must solve it for us. There are secondary problems like roads, power, health. Those ones come next. If you solve these first four, the other peripheral ones, the tertiary ones, they will follow naturally. But solve these first four.
1993, June 12 was a milestone. I recall leaving Benin that day by 12 o'clock to help woman to go and vote with my 504. There was an expectation it was cancelled, fair enough, for whatever reason. There were protests here and there. At the end of the day, Abacha stepped aside. Democracy was restored in 1999. I can assure you, what we had before 1999 is better than what we have today. There is no progress. It's retrogression. You can't from here go to Abuja now by road, kidnappers, insecurity. A liter of fuel is now 1,350 something. Many people cannot ride motors. Children are now roaming the streets. No school. It's a sad development. Yet we are making money in this country. Who is eating the money? What's the senator do with 50 million? Children now here hawking pure water in the street. Is that democracy? That's why fella call it demonstration on Chris. We are not moving forward. We are backward. Is it the life Awolowo plan, Ezekwe plan, Ojukwu plan, Ali plan, Ugbamudian plan? Today we are no road, no water, no light, no security. That's the worst of all. They come to your house, they go to school and carry children, go to church and carry church member, go to mosque, and we say we are security. But as far as I'm concerned, the word democracy is a fraud in Nigeria. We are not moving forward. Instead, we are backward. The present administration have no reason to address your demand because they are not interested, man. It's not their business. How can they are kidnapping children in detention in Bomosho and over. President Buhari went to East and distributing vehicles to women leaders. Instead of giving money to release the children, he went to distributing motor in the East. Where is he working? What is his salary, man? Is that democracy? Is that representing the government? It's a government of retrogression and backwardness. As far as I'm concerned, we are not making any progress. Where we were is better than where we are now.
In the past 27 years of democracy, we have seen some, positive aspects, and then those positive aspects have to do with something like, for instance, in the first time in our, democracy and in Nigeria, we are having 27 years of civil rule, which has never happened before. It has always been coup from one coup to the other, and now it is very clear that people understand very clearly that it is no longer, a military regime as usual. So it has also given people, freedom of expression. Unlike before, Sani Abacha regime where you don't have freedom of speech, but now you can speak to the government as you like. So all these are part of the, democracy that we have. But for me, I think democracy is working, but it's not giving the dividends, effect that the citizen deserve. To be sincere, I would say that civilian regime is far better. Yes, we know that there have been so many, disappointment for the citizens, but I can tell you for a fact that if in a society where you do not have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, where you cannot do anything except a decree is made, or when a decree is made you cannot go against it, that is not a society, and we should be living in a more civilized society now. So I believe that civilian rule is far better. Basically, I want to talk about the challenges. I did mention that yes, we have made some good headways in civilian rule, but we have some of this disadvantage that has actually, tried to put the citizens on their nails. For instance, let's look at economy. Economy happens to be the highest of it all because economy has made so many things to go far higher, beyond the common man's reach. If you take a look back in 2023 or 2020 or thereabout, you find that the economy was far better than this, 100%, because as at that time you could get a bag of rice for just 8.5, and now a bag of rice is 60,000, 65,000, 70,000. So you could see that the decay in the economic system is so bad, and that has actually eaten so deep, and it has actually made the citizens not to have that trust, not to have that strength and that belief for the government, because all they've been saying all along is to see that the government is not putting the policies that could affect the poor people, and some of these policies that the government put in place do not really affect the rich. It only affects the poor. So all these things put together are reasons why you will tell that the citizens are feeling very, very bad, and the citizens are really not asking for much. Nigeria is a very, very hard-working country. We all know. If the government is able to provide just few things, like for instance, road, security, electricity, I'm sure that can go a long way. I mean, you could imagine that for the past 1960 point, we've not been able to get 24 hours electricity, which is so bad. We don't have road. Insecurity everywhere. Because of this road, it also contributes to insecurity, because if all the roads are good and people can move freely, and you find out that this bandit or whatever they are, they cannot be easily they cannot easily come out, because it will be easy for the security agent to get to them immediately. So all these contribute to some of the the pains that the Nigerian people are feeling, and it's a big disadvantage that I believe that the government should look deep into that.
Well, so far so good. We have seen the bad, the good, the ugly, and we are still surviving. We cannot accurately say it has not been good, but rather it has not been a bed of roses, because looking at from 1999, we have had change of government from one party to another as well. Authoritatively, I can say that Nigeria has fared better, because the best is still yet to come, because democracy as it stands is still better than military dictatorship rule. Be that as it may, Nigeria, under this present democratic rule, which have lasted for 27 years now and is still counting, I will say that the citizens have enjoyed the dividends of democracy to some extent. Take, for example, from the time of now former President Olusegun Obasanjo, came with the use of mobile phones. And I'm very, very pleased to say that that was a plus to that government. And then, as President Olusegun handed over to Yaradua of blessed memory, we begin to enjoy the dividend of democracy as it relates to reduction in fuel pump price and what have you. But unfortunately, that regime came to an end by reason of the death of President Yaradua, and Goodluck Billy Jonathan took over. And again, we were enjoying it. I could remember vividly at the time before the election that ousted Jonathan, cement, a bag of cement was reduced to even 1,000 naira as at that time. So I can also say that is part of the dividend of democracy, even though it was a pre-election year or before the general election of 2015 that we enjoyed that. I think it was then the baton was taken over by a new political party headed by President Muhammadu Buhari of blessed memory. Well, I can say from there on, we all know the story. From one turbulent time to another, and then came the insurgency, the banditry, the kidnapping, and what have you. It has not been so palatable. Again, one would have expected that Nigeria, with its democratic system, things will be going from bad to good, from good to better, from better to best. But the reverse has been the case. For example, in this country, you sink borehole just to get water for yourself. You pay exorbitant price in getting generator set and fuel to power it. To mention but a few things you do for yourself, and at the end of the day, you will still pay tax. I pay tax. So I know for sure that it has not been easy. And the citizens expect the best from our government. Looking at the way those who govern us live in a kind of flamboyancy, they have a lot of assets to have money and spend at will, and they live in affluence. And that tells us that Nigeria is good, but the citizens are not looking good on it. So I want to say here and now that if the government actually wants to make democracy enjoyable to all of us, they should make things better, which I know they have the power to do because they themselves are enjoying it. So we, the citizens, need to enjoy it too.
June 12, 2026, considered as a day for reflection, honoring June 12 heroes and renewing our commitment for democracy. But the dominant public conversation is what has democracy delivered, with security, accountability, transparency, national unity, poverty, and economic major demands of citizens, which is expected to be addressed and tackled as soon as possible by the government in order for us as citizens to be able to live and enjoy our lives as Nigerians and be able to say we have a country we call our own. It is a Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji saying to you many thanks for watching.
ITV, certainly the best.
some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Emobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Thank you so much for staying tuned to yet another edition of International Forum. I am Wilson Omasha. Well, today is all about what is happening, yes, in the United Kingdom, where the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, just walked a long rope, resigned. I've been asked so many questions. This is like, is it not the fault of the minister, Prime Minister in 4 years? What is really happening? Situation so there that prime minister versus successive prime minister just can't fix it. Or say, or can you just deduce maybe just maybe the UK citizens, they are too difficult to please. They don't know the party, the citizens, the government of the day, or governance in general. What do they really want in 4 years? How many prime ministers? Anyway, with me here in the studio to talk about this, I have a legal practitioner, political affairs commentator. Jimmy, to welcome Barrister Henry Walls. Barrister, thank you so much for taking our time to join us in the studio.
Wishing it's a pleasure. Viewers at home, this is an opportunity to illustrate what is happening in UK and then ball it down to Nigeria where we all live.
To Nigeria, we all live anyway. And leave it at that for now. Somebody close to him, I call him a prof. Without no remorse, seriously, because when he starts analyzing nations, like, going for a class, he treats everything accordingly, giving you antecedent, giving you history, perspective, why A is now Z and all that. They are proof. Anyway, join me to welcome Prof. Felix Osaime. Thank you so much for making that time to join us.
Good afternoon. Viewers at home, good afternoon.
Hope you're not winding down to Nigeria.
No, he will snowball it down to Nigeria.
So it will be like Britain, or will I say UK. It's not the same as Nigeria, but all the same. Yes, Keir Starmer choose to take the noble part, or will I say thread the noble part by saying, look, I just can't do this anymore. I cannot fulfill the promises I made before I assumed office, and I just can't take it. The opposition, the talks, economy, inflation, in-house fighting, and all that, according to a report, made him to say, look, enough is enough. I'd rather choose the lonely path of resignation. Let me start off with you, Prof. Felix. Now, what can you really say led to this particular decision of Sir Keir Starmer?
The situation in the United Kingdom is reflective of what we can describe as the advanced democracies. From the information that I've been able to garner, Sir Keir Starmer's resignation was more of an internal challenge. It is not the opposition that is after him. In normal terms, that we always believe that the opposition should go against an incumbent. Rather, in his expression after he had seen King Charles III, which is the standard practice in the United Kingdom, he had already spoken with the king before he made this matter public. And he did say that his party, even members of his cabinet, feel that he is not the best person to lead them. That is the challenge. That on that account, he cannot continue to remain as Prime Minister. Rather, he has chosen to resign to make way for someone that can best fit the expectations of the party and the public. Because the party members are representatives. They are the ones in the cabinet and in the house. So, you know, it's a unitary system of government they run, and parliamentary, where members of the cabinet are also members of the legislature. So it's a very interesting thing to find a man saying, because you do not believe I am capable of doing this job, I have chosen the path of honor, I have stepped down. That was the announcement he made. But what it rankled me a bit was that today is Tuesday. The announcement came out yesterday, earlier in the day, and I think it was on Friday or Saturday, I saw a news feed online where President Trump said the Prime Minister of Britain is going to resign.
We'll come into that. We are coming to that because it stands rather, but there seems to be so much underneath that we need to unravel even in this discussion. Well, viewers joining us virtually, it's Comrade Elvis Brown. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Wiz.
All right, Elvis, thank you so much. Well, I'll soon come to you for you to really tell us what you feel about all of this. Well, Barrister Henry, you heard what Prof. Felix talked about. He said, look, there are so many things that got him a little bit rattled because the news first came out from the U.S. that this man is going to resign. And of course, he spoke with the king before he made the announcement of his resignation. Don't forget the impact of his resignation on UK political landscape. Is there US influence or the British monarch's influence in all of this for Keir to say, look, enough is enough. I just can't take it. I have to take the lonely path of resignation.
You will understand very well that UK for this decade, 10 years running, this is the 7th Prime Minister, as it were. And the people know what they want, and they go out for for that which they want. The Prime Minister in March, he was supposed to have resigned in March due to the challenges and the pressures that were on him, but he has to weather the storm till this point in time. But we also discovered that key members of the lawmakers, they have resigned for one reason or the other. They have resigned, citing certain issues. And yesterday, when he was running, you see the man was almost choking with emotion. And he said he was running because of the interests of the country he loved most. And they understand that the challenges were trying to be overwhelming on the part of the members of the Labour Party, because they are the major people who were pushing for him to step down to enable them get another leader who will lead them as members of the Labour Party. And they have tipped the person of Andy Bonham. And you also see that yesterday Andy Bonham was able to make his way to the parliament. So automatically come June 17th or 18th, Andy Bonham might be sworn in as the new Prime Minister of Great Britain. July he will be sworn in as the new Prime Minister of Great Britain. But you see, that is what you call democracy. In an ideal society, when a leader finds that the people are no longer comfortable with his style of administration, because the issues they raised were U-turns in policies, as is part of the issues they raised. They also raised the issue of him trying to make what is his name, an ambassador to US, somebody who has been indicted of having relationship with somebody who has issued that borders on the issue of sex challenge. So you find out that the people put their pressure, and the Prime Minister, knowing fully well that he has become very unpopular. And you may hear the Labour Party lost in the local government, or local council as they call it there. They lost, the local council, coupled with the fact that there is this rift between those who are members of the UK anti-immigration UK party, who are actually against his immigration policies, as it were. So I believe, as a man of honor, he has no option than to throw in the towel at the time when the ovation is very, very loud, and he will be remembered in the history of United Kingdom that he was the man who came, because in his statement he made, he said he had made UK stronger and fairer. That is the party itself, the Labour Party, that he had made the Labour Party stronger and fairer, and that's, you give it to him, that he has been able to achieve that. For 14 years, the Labour Party has never held position as it were. So he has done well, and when the time comes for him to leave, though it was pressures from the internal pressures from the members of the Labour Party, those who were in the lawmakers resigned, the others were pushing. They lost the local council election, and all this culminating with his support for Ukraine, and he's having a problem. You see, the problem you are talking about with Donald Trump, that Donald Trump said the man will be resigning. Well and good. We live in a society where there's usually interaction between the leaders of different nations, as it were, coupled with the fact that Britain never supported United States, going to Iran over the issue of Straits of Hormuz.
We will dive into all these issues, because someone is saying that it's like a high power politics, that it has gone far beyond the reach of, let's say, the assimilation, so to speak, of Sir Keir Starmer. But let's get to hear from Comrade Elvis Brown. Elvis, I believe you are there. So what do you feel about all this? Donald Trump saying that, look, this man is going to resign, and if a sudden the man went to meet the king, then he made the announcement. Elvis, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Very much. I want analysis, beautiful analysis. But I think that Keir Starmer, for me, is someone that should have resigned long ago. His policies are horrible, and he has presented the Labour Party like a party that knows not what it wants. Keir Starmer wanted to drag himself in office until he's 2 years in office by July this year. Remember that he won his election in July 2024. So he planned on dragging on until he has spent 2 years in office, probably more and tougher. Decided to now resign and allow the party and the country So I believe that policies, and remember the election that was conducted in May, the Labour Party actually lost so badly in that election. And that alone would have been enough for him to have resigned and allowed the party to have someone else to lead the party into the general elections in 2029. But I'm glad he has done the honorable thing, even though I know that he was never willing to. The good thing that he has now done so, and he is appreciated for it. At least that pose yourself. That when people say your time is up, your time is up. It's not like ours where all can actually impose yourself. Make yourself their choice by force. It is not done so in those countries. So Kestama has just done the right thing as the leader of the Labour Party. And I think somebody else is taking over. Is going to be acting pending when the party will now have another leader. That's what I think is happening. But I think these policies were the reason that he had to leave. There's been these attacks by knife-wielding attacks. There's been, cry by the people of the British people, and not just the British people, the residents of this country, about this Islamophobic attack against the Jewish nations and all that. And you just say nothing about it. So because of all these things, they believe that this guy cannot continue to lead the party. So I think he has done the right thing. Thank you very much.
I will definitely come back to you. Now, for what you said, Prof, you talked about it's like an internal issue. But if you take a look at the election season, so to speak, the Labour Party, they've been losing so much seat. Don't you think it has a touch of the satisfaction of British citizens about his style of leadership and, of course, policy? Don't forget that he was the one that refused America having a base in that particular United Kingdom. And, of course, you get to see the way he reluctantly choose to support the U.S. when they had this issue with Iran that affected global energy supply across the world. Take it up from there. Yes, Prof.
All right. Foreign policy is closely tied to domestic policy. Now, the way you plan things in your country, it's a reflection of your strength, your internal dynamics. Where it is you consider first. Before you can project outside your country, you would have taken care of your internal challenges. Labour Party comes from this background of the working class. That's the ideology. The ideology of the Labour Party is more of to support the working class and make sure that the issue of working class is taken to the front burner, which will mean lower the taxes, improve their welfare, improve health services, increase educational support, then make sure that there's comfortable and affordable housing. All these things are policies that Kestama proposed and promised to work on. The Conservatives are more elitist. The Labour Party is more egalitarian. And they also look at the issue of foreigners entering the workspace. Now, if you take all these things together, you must settle your home before you begin to dabble into external issues. I didn't mention defense just now, because defense more or less has actually been left to the US to manage in the international community. What Great Britain does most time is to give support. And encouragement, and at times where necessary they will send troops. Kestama's position has more of let us develop our environment. Almost the same way Trump has been arguing the US make America great again. So Sama's argument also do not forget the fact that there are a lot of young people in the voting range. The Britain is now a mix of immigrant communities, not one community, immigrant communities. So all these things tend to make it across to many arguments, discordant tunes. So in trying to cut down defense spending, they will have to push that, whatever is saved, to other areas. Internal issue that mostly dogged Kestama's administration is that of immigration. Immigration was a major matter. They were able to manage that of health. They were able to manage even that of housing at a time. People were complaining that London was becoming too expensive. That people were leaving London because they cannot afford the rates for rent and property acquisition. It is that interesting. And this is a man that promised to lower taxes. And also improve health, education, and housing. Once you are not meeting those conditions, no matter how many roles you win outside, people will call you to order. That is why I feel for Kestama, because he had very good intentions. And that's why, if you also observe, he wasn't too keen about whether Ukraine is having issue with Russia, America is having issue with Iran. He was not pushed to that end at all. His own was, how do we manage our affairs? So if you feel maybe Trump pointing out that Starmer is going to resign, Starmer eventually resigned, maybe there was pressure. I don't want to believe it is pressure on him. It is a mass convention. That's why in his own expression, he said clearly that he feels sad because those that are his own party members in his cabinet do not believe he is the person to lead them. This credibility crisis. It's not as if he stole money, not as if it was misappropriation, not as if he has pushed money to part of his constituency or constituency votes were diverted. No. It was still very clear as a national expectation. It was clearly nationalistic. But that doubt, and this is why I use the word an advanced democratic system, that they've come to the point where it is what the people say that they do. If the people lack confidence in them, if the people begin to have doubts about their credibility and their capacity, two critical issues. You must have credibility, you should have capacity. Even if you have one of the two, it won't fly. You need the two together. Credibility and capacity. So his credibility is not in question here. It is his capacity. Now carry them along to convincingly, because they also check their ratings, popularity ratings, they do Gallup polls, they always alert. My good friend Trump doesn't bother about that. I know. Yes. Because he's operating in a different theater. They are very, very sensitive to such things. And if you see what happened to Rishi Sunak, almost the same argument. What happened to Liz Truss? It's an argument. Most of the time, it is not from outside. It is within their party. They face opposition. All right. Their own friends and party members will tell them, you are not meeting up. Oh, what would that have done? They say, no, you should know. You are the one that fell for this. That's the problem, and the Durham is likely going to happen, because they are already arguing that should Durham be allowed to go as a consensus candidate. So people are saying, no, this issue of consensus is making it look like is that coronation or contest. Let there be a contest. If there are 2-3 persons that come out to tussle for this position, we will get the best. We will say, oh, this is our party man. When did Durham come into politics? Even at that, he's an MP already, he's a member of parliament. Then suddenly you are saying that if there is no alternative, if there is no other member of the party making a bid for that position from July 9th to July 16th, which is when they will take the tally, and the 81 member of parliament will have to assent. Once that is done, by July 17th, Durham can become the next prime minister. All right. And people are saying that is even becoming too easy. Too easy. We'll come to that about Andy Bonham and, of course, his quest to be the new prime minister. Now, for what Prof said, which you actually agree, is like an internal thing. But I think that all these internal crises came up because of the reactions of the people, knowing fully what the one Labour Party stands for in the UK. It's all about the people.
Yes, exactly. That is the position, because they feel the pulse of the people. They are not distant from the people, because it's the people who has asked them to represent them. and the people you are representing has raised issues, oh, you are not doing well. It is your responsibility to look into their complaints and find a meeting point where the issues can be resolved and get the needed welfare of the people. The people are, the UK is not like in this part of the world where you have high rate of illiteracy, a high rate of poverty, a high rate of people who have lost their sense of trying to decipher what is good from what is bad, because certain, either the government policy or some persons within the environment where they live, either they are religious leader or traditional leader or political leader, has been able to brainwash them and kept them perpetually in abject poverty. But these are people who know what they need. In that part of the world, government collects tax. Government utilizes the tax in ensuring that the basic needs of lives are provided. When the tax you have collected, you are not using, the people have right to ask. You are not doing what you are supposed to do. These are people who the government has said, we are going to protect lives and property. And when government is not taking that as a primary thing they should have done, they will be able to ask questions that, oh, you promised us that we are going to protect our lives and properties, but we are not doing it. These are people who health. They are supposed to, the health facilities are supposed to be up to date. The man is not doing that as he has promised. And all the basic needs of life. You look at the social security issue. The government is supposed to make provisions, especially for those who do not have something doing. They'll be able to get to a place or the age where they're supposed to have one or two things that will keep them going, or those who have served their country, just as we have in this part of the world. After 35 years, the man has served. You find it difficult getting whatever is supposed to be accrued to you, even till you die. Or even 10 years after your death, your children and grandchildren will be still be going asking for it. So that is what you find in a society like the United Kingdom.
And then you're going to drag Nigeria into this.
No, I'm not dragging Nigeria into, because they are our colonial masters. Yeah. And you learn from your teacher. And you should learn the good ones. Even if you learn the bad ones, you should also learn the good ones from your teacher. So you learn both. You learn both. But ours, we have only learned the bad one. We didn't learn the good ones from our teacher. And that is why we have kept us where we are today. So, conclusively, what I'm saying is that in a society where the people are sane, in a society where the government is proactive, in a society where the government knows that the people decides. Nobody writes results in UK. I will not tell you that in the United Kingdom maybe they will not have one or two schemes when it comes to issue of election. But nobody will sit down in the comfort of his palace. So that is why that is why the people are very important, and that is why the pressure on Starmer that, gentlemen, it is a time for you to leave. He has no option than to leave.
All right, we want to go for a break. We're going to be hearing from the elders about all this kind of analogy by Barrister Henry Walls. Anyway, I'll come back to you on that later. Let's take this break. We'll be right back.
What does one do with a bunch of memories? Laugh about them, cry over them, or capture them? I know what I'll do with such memories. I'll showcase those memories. Yes, I will show them to the world. I will flaunt those memories. Showcase that marriage ceremony of yours. Burial ceremony? Yes, let the people know that you buried your person in a grand style. Thanksgiving, ordination, baby dedication, housewarming party, and lots more on your entertainment program, Memories, on Independent Television. Every Sunday, remember, for your events to be considered thick and classic, then it has to be on Memories. Memories.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. After all, it's a live studio. We are really taking a look at what is happening right now in the UK, where Sir Keir Starmer chose to walk that lonely path. But come on, in UK, for the past 10 days, over 6 p.m.s, right? 7, right? And now for the past 4 years, is it not 4 thereabout? They've been changing and changing. The question now is it so difficult to be a prime minister in the United Kingdom? As I'm saying that is where politics thrive. Are you sure about this? Does the UK citizens, do they know what they really want? After all, we talk about the Labour Party, is all about the people. Keir Starmer's resignation, that is what we're talking about this afternoon on International Forum. Now let's move straight down to where Elvis Brown is standing by. Now, Elvis, you've heard both Prof and of course a barrister about what they feel if the person is internal or external. And let's draw a lead from what is happening from the international scene. Before this news broke, Trump talked about his resignation, and this man will resign. We heard that he went to see the king. After seeing King Charles III, he now came out and made that heart-touching speech about his resignation. Do you feel that outside internal party crisis, maybe, just maybe, someone outside of the UK is not in tune with what Starmer is doing, hence his resignation? Because someone said that if Trump were to be on his side, he wouldn't have resigned.
I can tell you clearly, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I can tell you clearly that the reason he actually said now before resigning was because he hoped to be able to prove Donald Trump wrong. But you cannot separate the UK politics from the US politics, especially when it has to do with military collaboration. Now, let me give you something to look at. In February, Trump had requested to use the island, for military operation against Iran. Forgotten the name of this island now. The Keir Starmer refused. He said, no, I'm not going to give you access to the island. And Trump said, well, okay, that's disappointing. You shouldn't have done that because we have collaborated always on military issue. So Trump went ahead to carry out his operation irrespective of the fact that the Starmer refused to give him access to the island. And what happened after that? Nigel Farage took advantage of that refusal to start bombarding Keir Starmer. He started, hitting her on the ground and saying, look, this should not happen. America, the UK have always collaborated in military operation. That he should have allowed Donald Trump to make use of that island to launch his military operation against Iran. Don't forget that rather, by March, Kestama realized that that was a big mistake on his part. That was a blunder. And then he wanted to let Trump use the island. Trump said, look, I don't need it anymore. I never needed it anyway. I can actually do without it. And because of Miguel Canel, Trump refused to now establish a relationship with Kestama. Trump started hitting him hard, saying the guy was going to resign. And after that, King Charles visited America. And by May, don't forget, by May there was an election. The Reform UK, which is the Miguel Canel political party, I'm not sure they won about 1,452, if I'm not mistaken. 1,452, and I think the BBC analysis was that was about 27% of the seats that people got at the time. Now, the Labour Party lost badly in that election. There were 1,900 seats that were lost. Only Reform UK took 1,452 of those 1,900 that were lost. So you can understand that that was a big blow to Kestama. What the people should ask is why Reform UK? It is because the Reform UK, the leader of the Reform UK is a friend to Donald Trump, is someone that believes that what Trump is doing in America is what has to be done in the UK. He has boasted well enough to say, look, I will replicate Trump's policies in the UK. He has also said, look, Trump is popular, and I think when he supports me, he definitely will win the elections in the UK. So these things were on the banner. Because someone was actually looking down the impact of Trump. To be very honest with you, when Trump starts hitting you hard, everything about you start changing. The people around you start seeing you differently. Your political party starts seeing you differently. That's exactly what happened. Now, remember when Trump started hammering Nigeria? When he started talking about the clean of...
I will definitely come back to you. I will come back to you. I will come back to you. All right, now he raised the point talking about the input of Trump in all of this when he asked for permission from Keir Starmer in the fight, so to speak, against Iran. Keir said no. And he gave reasons for saying no. And ever since then, Trump has been on his case. And of course, when King Charles III went to the U.S. for a visit, things were discussed, though we're not privy to whether it has anything to do with the Prime Minister or not. But after that visit, how many months backwards to a particular visit, here we are. They told Keir Starmer to please step aside. Though he never came out to say, I was told to step aside. There's an adage in Africa, I say, what? The owl cries at night, the child dies in the morning.
Who is now responsible?
Prof, who is truly behind this trade? Because here, if you take a look at his speech, he never wanted to leave. He said he has so much to offer to UK. Do you feel that he's like, muzzled to resign?
I want to believe differently. He is not... Sir Keir Starmer is not a political neophyte that someone would intimidate him out of the executive office of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, Wales, Scotland and Ireland. No, it's not a pushover. What played out is more of his own friends, his political associates, not being fully convinced. And this is where it's interesting. In the Western world, leaders operate on a very strong moral code, which unfortunately is lacking in our own part of the world. I use the word lacking, not because it is totally absent. It's suppressed. If they feel that they have put in their best and people are not accepting it as their best, most of the time they will throw in the towel. They do say that. So Keir Starmer's case, is his case even the first to resign? Or what did Rishi Sunak do that made him to resign? He misappropriated money? Those are crimes. These people have not committed crime. They are telling you that the people they lead are complaining that they are not doing enough. And when the people complain that you are not doing enough, as a leader in a developed democracy, you are not winning the next election. And most of the time, the litmus test of the general election is always the council election, which they do mid-term. The one they do in different boroughs, the councils and everything. So that's the one we call local government election here, which is where you could see that there was already a nosedive in the rating. So the thing Kestama said that I also took note of from his expression is that he does not want to lead the party till the time we go to general election, because it will likely be disastrous for the Labour Party at that point in time. That's what he also said. So to say he was pressured will sound as if we are constructing a scenario that does not exist. Let us take it as he has said it, and based on what we know about their political antecedents, and which is why Barrister One also mentioned something that there are some places somebody will sit there in his house and write results. Somebody would have served the country meritoriously, he will retire, and he will not get his entitlement. Those are issues that, if it happens in a place like United Kingdom, the government will be, in fact, the entire government will be also resign. The entire government, not even the Prime Minister. In this case, it's not the entire government, it is the Prime Minister that is pulling out. His members, the cabinet, they are still in place. He is pulling out as both Prime Minister and leader of the party, because the two, you hold them together. And he's the leader of the party in Parliament. Because the party contests for power to drive its own policies. And those policies are brought out in the manifesto. So when you do not meet those policies, the people that you spoke to will tell you, we are not getting that feel that you promised us. You have to do better, or else. And that's why at times they also go for a vote of no confidence on the government in the Parliament. So it has not reached that level. There is no crisis. It's an internal issue, and as I said, he is not the first. Liz Truss, did she not resign? Liz Truss resigned. Theresa May resigned. Did anybody from outside come to compare them? It is part of their acceptance that if they are not doing well as expected for the populace that voted for them, they will just back down. And that's why it's called the honorable part. You use the word that is a lonely part. It's more of honor. It could be lonely, but the person has, they can also stay. In the case of Boris Johnson, Johnson had the credibility issue. You went partying during COVID. People were on lockdown, you were partying, and you tried to cover it up.
Oh, yeah.
So that was clear. They said, no, you are not credible. You lack credibility. You cannot lead us because you are saying one thing and you are doing
another thing. All right.
That's in the case of
all right. Now, talking about the path of honor, talking about credibility, talking about the people not wanting you or your party members, your friends in your political party do not want you. And of course, going to visit King Charles III and putting everything together, some are like deducing that this guy was like, forced to leave. But Prof said it's not true. But from all one can really, perceive some, put it like saying that for Trump to come, complain about you, the monarch went to the U.S., the monarch came back, you went to visit the monarch, that was after Trump made a comment about your resignation, you went to the monarch, and now you've resigned. That means, maybe, just maybe, this man was just dancing on the ropes.
Well, listen, the truth there is that the handwriting was clearly written on the wall long before July 22nd. In March, the man would have resigned, as it were, but he held on till this July 22nd. Visiting the monarch, who incidentally need to be visited, and the opposition known to him, was the right thing Starmer did. But we also understand too that for the past 3-4 months or thereabouts, the man has been, trying to see how he weathered the storm, the challenge, because there was strong challenge. Just as I rightly said, it is a developed democracy. It's not the type you practice in the other parts of the world, especially where yourself and myself live, where leaders are not true leaders. Instead, they are rulers. Where leaders do not listen to the voice of the people. The people have complained. He has become unpopular, and this was actually shown during the May local council election. You don't need any other person to tell you that you have lost grip of the people, because the people expected him to do that which he has told them in their manifesto. All these people, they have manifesto. It's not like yourself and myself. In this part of the world, somebody will be telling you in 2026 that I want to give you a road, and somebody is celebrating. Oh, I want to build a flyover, a bridge. Oh, you see people dancing, Broad Market, wearing a shebi as if something has happened.
Yeah, they've not seen a flyover before. And we don't blame them.
No, because that is how our leaders have kept us. Our leaders has emasculated us to their mentality, to the extent that we see the basic needs of life as if it is a luxury that we are not supposed to enjoy it. And the same, your leader will travel outside the country and behave like a normal person, like every other person you see in that part of the world. So we see what I'm trying to say in essence, that accepted karma at this point in time has to throw in the towel, because the system was no longer favorable. If your home cannot, your home cannot hold you, that is to say you have failed as a leader. And that is what he did, was the best option for him, because if members of the high-profile members of the parliament are resigning because of his policies, if in the election in the local council they lost, and again he discovered there's much pressure, especially from the people who are complaining for one thing or the other, Whitson, the man has no option than to throw in the towel. Because now the ovation is very loud, because the system is quite different from other parts of the world where you find the system. The system is a developed democracy where tax is being used for the purpose it is meant for, not for the purpose of the man who has collected the tax to begin to gather money for generations unborn, who you are not even sure if they will utilize the money as it were. So we see. The man has done well.
Your basic published analysis. Though you're not mentioning it, but we know where you are going. Look, barrister.
Anyway, it's the system. It's the system.
The system.
And when you have a system that is functional, when you have a system where the people they have voice, because in our own situation, we see you have no voice, I have no voice.
Okay.
You can wake up in the morning and discover that the road leading to your house has been blocked, because in the last election you didn't vote for a particular party.
Let's get straight to where Elvis Brown is standing. But between and Braham, so to speak, that is getting up to be the new prime minister, do you feel that he can do this differently? After all, Rishi Sunak was, and for Rishi Sunak, you have retinues of prime minister saying they can fix the UK. And as it stands right now, according to a report, according to the populace inside of the UK, they are saying things are getting worse. Do you feel that, one, Andy will be the right man? Two, do you also feel that he can take Labour Party to where it ought to be when you talk about political parties? And three, can it fix the UK situation?
Can you hear me? Okay, so thank you very much, Wilson. If you can hear me, I think that as long as it is not Femi Badenoch, who is actually more British than the king himself, any other person should be able to do good, to do well. Those who understand that relationships matter, collaboration matter, and you also understand that these countries have been there for long. You're not going there to practice a policy somersault where you say, this is what I'm going to do, and then you get in and start doing something else, and nobody is able to talk to you. Then you'll be shown the way out, like they have shown Starmer now. He can now go home and then relax with himself and his family. It's a normal thing in the UK. Prime Minister has resigned every now and then. His own is not the first. His own will not be the last. But I think the good thing is that he has also learned. The reason we are actually talking about the fact that, particularly the reason I'm insisting that this guy was pressured to leave was because I've actually read his statement, and I have seen that, within the statement, there are sentences that you can see that they are a result of pressure when your parliamentarians, from your own political party are becoming, mounting pressure on you. They are no longer loyal to you. They no longer believe in you, and then they stop listening to you, stop seeing you as their leader. That's pressure in itself. When you go to the king and then you come back and say, well, there's nobody that was going to come back and say, look, I was pressured to leave. He was never going to say that. There's no prime minister. I'm not sure there's any prime minister who has say, well, the pressure on me to resign is much, so therefore I have to leave. Nobody says that. They will tell you that in the interest of the country, they have to leave. Of course, in the interest of the country, because constitutionally, there's a path to living, and there's a path to coming in, and there's a path to living. That's the way it works there. And you now bring that back to who we do in our country. I know you don't want me to go there, but let me just say a little about that. When Donald Trump went shouting that there was a Christian genocide in Nigeria, our leadership, the government, quickly make arrangements for negotiators, people who will help them go to America.
The thing is that particular report cannot be substantiated. Elvis, thank you. Not to worry, we'll dive into this particular discussion on another platform, not on this for now, Elvis, okay? I will get back to you if time permits. But moreover, we're like out of time right now. Our time is up according to the timing. But thank you so much. Well, Barrister, 30 seconds. What advice do you have for the outgoing Prime Minister, and of course the one that is going to take over? People are like pointing at Andy Bohan.
Well, for the man who is leaving, he has done his best, which he has said that he had made his party stronger and fairer. And then for the man who is coming in, he should learn from what has happened to the man who is leaving, knowing fully well that is the people that decides your fate, whether you succeed or you fail. And for those of us who live in this part of the world, our leaders should also look at what is happening in UK and learn from it that when the ovation is very loud, that is when it is for you to throw in the towel.
All right, thank you so much. Prof, briefly, 30 seconds.
We should understand the, if when you teach government in secondary school, we tell them, there's political sovereign, that is the government that has been elected to office or that has been sworn in. Then there's the legal sovereign, that is the people. And it is established in simple classroom environment. You tell them that power resides in the legal sovereign because they decide, they vote. This is where power is actually being played out.
All right.
What we should learn from this and what we can take away from it is that in any political system, it is the people that is primary. It is the people that decide, the people that count. It is the people that choose. And when the leadership is not meeting the expectation of the people, that kind of leadership should be asked to take a step back.
Thank you.
That is what we have just
Thank you so much. I've gone to Brown, but we are like pressed for time right now. You probably have heard the analysis of my analysts in the studio. Well, let's see how this will pan out. 4 Prime Minister within the space of 4 years, 7 within the space of 10 years. Who is now suitably qualified to rule the United Kingdom as a Prime Minister? Do this again next week Tuesday, God willing. Bye for now.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Success does not happen by chance. It begins with the right foundation. From